Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva has won Brazilian's election, narrowly beating Jair Bolsonaro, official figures show. It has been Brazil's most polarized elections in recent memory, pitting far-right incumbent President Bolsonaro against leftist former leader Lula da Silva. On his victory, Mr. da Silva tweeted a simple picture of his hand over Brazilian flag, the word democracy. Its stunning return to power of Mr. da Silva, 77, whose 2018 imprisonment over a corruption scandal sidelined him from that year's election, paving the way for then-candidate Mr. Bolsonaro win and 4 years of far-right politics. Mr. da Silva's convictions were annual, but he faced uphill battle when he decided to rerun for president, with millions of Brazilians continuing to believe he was corrupted. After his victory was announced, he said, "They tried to bury me alive and I am here." And in his first speech to the nation as president-elect, he vowed his most urgent commitment would be to end hunger in Brazil. His victory marks the first time since Brazil 1985 retained that democracy, the sitting president who has failed to win re-election. Colombia President Gustavo Petro wrote "Viva Lula," while Argentina's leader Alberto Fernandez said the victory ushered in a new era for the history of Latin America. He said, "A time of hope and future begins today." Brazil's Supreme Electoral Court's count showed it was close contest. Mr. da Silva polled 50.9% of votes compared to 41.1% for Mr. Bolsonaro, with all the voting machine counted. The elections in the world's fourth largest democracy served as referendum on two starkly different and vehemently opposite vision of Brazil's future. Mr. Bolsonaro vowed to consolidate a sharp rightward turn in the Brazil's politicals after the presidency that witnessed one of the world's deadliest COVID-19 widespread deforestation in the Amazon basin. Mr. da Silva promised more social and environmental responsibility, evoking the rising prosperity of 2003 to 2010 presidency before corruption scandal tarnished his Worker Party. More than 120 billion Brazilians were expected to cast ballots, with the vote conducted electronically. There were also fears Mr. Bolsonaro could challenge the election results should be lose, much like former US President Donald Trump. For a month, he claimed the nation's electronic voting machines are prone to fraud, though he never presented evidence. Mr. da Silva prepared to give a speech at a hotel in São Paulo on Sunday evening. Mr. Bolsonaro had yet to conclude the elections. It was the country's closest poll in more than 3 decades. Just over 2 million votes spread the two candidates, with 99.5% of the votes counted. The previous closest race in 2014 was decided by a margin of 3.46 million votes. The new president, known universally as Lula, will be sworn on 1st January 2023.